So I was married on August 29th, 2004. It was exactly how I planned it to go, aside from being 90 degrees during the outdoor ceremony. But it was pretty perfect. And it was not the happiest day of my life. Nor were either of the days I gave birth to my two children, nor was the day I signed the contract for my first novel to be published. Because the fact is, all of my happiest days have been on ecstasy. Ecstasy, also known as E, X, MDMA, and now Molly, is a drug that combines the effects of stimulants and hallucinogens. Made for some pretty happy days. But it was not supposed to be like that. I am a child of the just say no era, and I am a rule follower. By the time I graduated from high school, I had had one glass of wine paired with a lovely baked brie and French bread at my friend's house. I had smoked maybe a handful of cigarettes until I realized that I didn't actually know how to inhale and I just looked like an idiot. But for all the just say no education I got in high school, I think the thing that really kept me away from drugs and alcohol was a serious control issue and the movie Less Than Zero. For those of you who don't know it, Less Than Zero is a movie about 3 high school graduates in LA, all who have too much money and too much time on their hands, one of whom develops a serious addiction, gets cut off from his family's money, and his drug dealer pushes him into sex work to repay his very large debt. I don't think you can make drugs look any more unappealing than Less Than Zero made them look. So I stayed away. And it wasn't even really that hard until I didn't. In college, I was involved with the rave scene. They were great people, and the music was great, and the atmosphere was great. And just as there are social drinkers and social smokers, I discovered there are social ecstasy takers. I partied with these people for years, never doing drugs, but watching them take E, that's what we called it, every Friday night and showing up for work and school on Monday morning, no worse for wear. And they made it look really easy and really fun. So my senior year of college, over spring break, I flew out to Arizona to visit one of my raver friends, and we were at a party at a club, and there was E that had just come off the plane from Amsterdam. Now that doesn't happen anymore, and it almost never happened then. But I was fairly sure that it was going to be the best stuff I was ever going to try, so why not? And it was really, really goody. The E was so good that 24 hours later, in a bookstore in Flagstaff, Arizona, I was caught looking at poetry books and dancing in the aisle. And my friends found me and started laughing, and I started laughing, and I was like, sorry, this music is just really good. And I'm like pointing to the ceiling where I assume the music is coming from like hidden speakers. And they were like, Jamie, there is no music playing in this bookstore. I was dancing to really good music in my own head. This is what we used to call having your own private rave. And I had plenty of them in my day. I could tell you stories of joy-filled, ecstasy-fueled adventures that would blow your mind. I went to a day party in the DC Armory and ran into my bank teller. There was a night that I was at a club in New York City, and instead of dancing, I spent the whole time talking to Dan and Andrea, who were 2 of the nicest people on the face of the earth. However, I've only ever spoken to them fucked up, and I'm not sure they actually exist. But let's just say they do, they did. It was awesome. So here's the problem with programs like Just Say No and movies like Less Than Zero. They convince you the issue with drugs is addiction. I knew that, so I stayed away from getting addicted. I made sure, this is not a choice for everyone, but for me, I made sure and was able to not get addicted. But what those programs don't tell you is drugs reset your level for joy. Nobody told me that the E I did in my 20s would steal the joy of my 30s or my 40s or the rest of my life, because I swear to you, I was more happy in that silent bookstore dancing to my own private rave than I was at my own wedding, even though there was nothing wrong with my wedding. My barometer for joy has been reset forever. Thanks.